morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Andrea Huck. So, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Brian says, Happy Tuesday, super pumped and can't wait for today's DCC. Awesome. Thank you for joining, everyone. We've got Emmanuel, Nicholas, Brian, Rosie, Tim. Good morning, everyone. Jason. Jason said, I'm not as excited as Brian, but let's do this. I feel you guys. All right. Aiden. All right, so let's jump right in. Let's go on over to behance.net/challenge/XD. And as always, this is where you can find all of your daily prompts, everything Daily Creative Challenge related. And yes, I am wearing my Santa hat again today, and we will see how long it will stay on. I need to just get like a normal adult-sized one because this one's just hanging on by my bun, so we'll see. All right, so if you don't already know how it works, go ahead and register with this big blue button up here, and each day you'll receive a new challenge. I will tell you what that is, and be sure to join our community chat and Discord. I'll hop on over in there in just a second, but first want to kind of cover this page. And of course, be sure to watch our daily live show every day right here at 11:30 Pacific time. And lastly, just be sure to share your work on Discord and Behance when you're done, and we can see what lovely work you guys have been creating. So let's go ahead and scroll on down, look at all this work that we've been working on. So today, what I want you guys to do, this is a fun one, maybe one of my favorites this week and last week. So I want you to design a web-based Santa tracker for kids. So allow users to hover over various locations around the world and see what time Santa will arrive. So I thought like Google does the Santa tracker every year, and I thought that would be fun to do something like that since it's the holiday themed week this week. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and grab that Dropbox starter file, just go download, direct download, and then that will get you that starter file. That looks a little something like this, minus my design, of course. And of course, if you want to rewatch any of the streams, if you missed any of them, just press the blue button to rewatch. Also, if you're not a member of Discord, you can go ahead and click either this button or this one up here to sign in, create an account. It's totally free to join. And this is what Discord looks like. So when you first join, it might look a little bit like a lot's going on, but basically all of the channels are over here. You can feel free to click around, see what channel you maybe want to explore. So Creative Challenge, this will give you all the daily prompts. And if you'd like to submit your work for feedback from some of our mentors, you can see what mentors are online over here. You can submit it in this current challenge channel. So we've got some lots of awesome work. Aaron posted this one from yesterday. Lizline, I just reviewed this one. Awesome job. We've got the fire one from last week. That was a popular DCC. So I'm going to review some of these at the end of the challenge today. I've got some pulled up, and let's hop right in. Okay, so like I mentioned, everyone's excited about the Santa tracker in the in the chat today. Welcome. Hi from Korea. Wow, very cool. Awesome, all over. Well, maybe you guys can represent your country today in our Santa tracker challenge. So I want you to focus on the hover trigger for the Santa tracker. You can go as in-depth as you want. If you just want to focus on like one area, I'm going to focus on just Australia. Randomly picked a country for today. If you want to be able to be more interactive with the map, like zoom out and see the whole world, zoom into specific parts of your map, feel free to do that. So you can totally just, kind of go crazy with this. Here are a few Santa tracker examples. Not too many out there, surprisingly, I guess. So this app was called Santa Tracker, Track Santa. And yeah, just pretty basic. You can show a map if you want. They have 3 buttons here, so either find Santa or go to the Arctic or go to your home. So I thought that was a good idea, just focusing on those 3 CTAs. This one, where is Santa? Pretty like like spy tracker almost a vibe. So that was kind of neat. You can try something like that. And then of course, I think we all know about the Google Santa tracker. So this one, you can log on, see what time Santa is supposed to be wherever you are in the world, if it's 2 a.m., 3 p.m., whatever, and then you can zoom in on all of these little spots. And yeah, it's like interactive and they have games and stuff. It's kind of cute. As always, I have some resources down below. You can feel free to explore those if you'd like. And just be sure that you share on Discord and on Behance when you're done. So on Behance, be sure you're sharing with that keyword XD Daily Challenge so we can find your work and give you feedback. Alrighty. So, and I know we did do one hover tracker DCC last week, but I do feel like this is something that you can really do a bunch of different things with for hover. So I wanted to focus on just like all of the different attributes that you can use with the hover component. So I am going to be working on a website. If you want to do a mobile app, that's fine as well. And I've already just created the background, kept it pretty simple. So I've got my logo, just Santa tracker, pretty basic, up in the top left. And then we're going to have search. That is like the main focus that I want everyone to focus on, or the user to focus on in this app. And then a Where is Santa button to be able to just zoom out and then search wherever in the world Santa is that particular moment. And then of course, like a menu, some notifications, something like that. And then the map should be like full screen pretty much, since we don't want it to be too small so you can't see any of the details. So like I mentioned, this is Australia. I picked just like a random country. I wanted to be able to show, some of the water and just like zoom out a bit. So I'll zoom in a bit. I'm just gonna show like 5 different cities. And I already have some assets down here that I want to start adding in to my country. So let's see, what should I start with first? Okay, I'll add in some of these first. I feel like I've been using these a lot recently, but I love these Adobe stock images. Like, let's see, what did I search today? Adobe stock. That you can just search, and they're vector, which is really nice. So I think I just searched like, here's some of my recent searches. Santa sleigh illustration, but make sure you search vector so that you're able to like double click and take out whatever elements you want. So like this one would be a good one maybe. Or like this one, cute little Santas, something just fun like that. So yeah, I just downloaded these, and these are AI files, and then you can just double click in, and I'm gonna take a few of these elements just to add around the country. So let's copy this, paste this right here, make it like that size. Awesome. And this just saves so much time. So let's see, I'll copy a few of these things. Don't want those. Copy. And I'll paste it right here. Paste it right here. Don't want the background. Did it group it? Okay. That's cute. A little church. And I picked something with the kind of cool tones because I thought I wanted the blue, just color tone. That moved a bit. And let's see, let's add some little trees. These are super cute. So we just want to kind of like fill in some of our country, whatever country you decide to focus on. Some little trees, maybe some of these little trees as well. Very cute. Okay, let's copy that. And maybe one or two more. We can just grab this little house, copy, and paste it. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So that's like fine-ish. I want to more focus on these cities. I could add, maybe you need like a little bit more. I'll add this little snowman. This is so cute. All right, let's paste this in here, make him a little bigger. Okay. So that looks pretty good kind of for the background, and these will all be static. And then whenever I hover over each of these cities that I've already kind of laid out, I want something to happen, something to pop up whenever I hover over any of those. Okay, so David has a question. When using hover over and modifying the size between states, is there a way to set it so when you hover over it expands from all sides? When I change the size, it always expands from one corner. Yeah, so I think you can just move, or if I understand your question correctly, you can just move the shape wherever you want. So let me get into hover a bit, and then we can come back to that question in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our icon for location. So we'll put one right here for Perth, Alice Springs, Darwin, and Brisbane, and then Melbourne. I don't know if I'm saying all of those correctly, but okay. So now, hover attributes that you can change. So it's really cool because there's all these are just a few that I thought of. So you can change the color. So when you hover over something, maybe it's blue, and then you can change it to white when you hover over. You can change the size also. So if it's like a larger size, maybe something can change to smaller. And you can do this with multiple elements also within each component that you're hovering over. You can change the shape. You can change transparency. So give it a little bit of opacity. And you can add additional items, like you can add a circle or whatever inside. So those are just a few things to get you thinking about what you maybe want to add when you hover over each city. So my first example, I'll just start with the hover button up at the top. So this one, because that's something that you always use hover with. So usually, and this is something I feel like a lot of people don't think about when you're doing hover or pressed buttons. So the best way to choose your color for hover button is thinking about it in a physical sense. So for instance, if you have a hover button that's this like light blue color, you want to think about it in a physical way. So if your button is hovering, it's moving up. So you can see this is like a side view of a button, for instance. So this white part is your web page, and then this is the actual button. So if it hovers up outside of its like designated spot, then that button might become lighter because it sees more sunlight, if we're thinking in a physical sense. And so this is just normal if it's not being hovered over or pressed, so it would just be its normal color. And then if it's pressed, you can think about it's being like pushed down into the ground. And if it's being pushed down, then it might have some shadows coming in from the sides because it's not seeing as much light. So for that instance, you would want to make the button darker. So just something to think about when you're choosing your state colors and state attributes like sizes and transparency and all that. Maybe not try to just like, oh, I'll change it to whatever color. Think about what might actually happen in the real world, in the physical world. So that is something I like to try. So let's go ahead and add a hover attribute to this component. So right now it's not a component. And like we already discussed on one of our previous challenges, all you do is press the plus button. We've got default state, and then we can add a hover state. And so make sure you double click in so you're actually selecting one of the elements inside the component. And then we can just bring down the opacity a little bit. And I'll also do that for the text. Okay, and then we can bring it back to default. So whenever we preview this, we can see that it becomes lighter when we hover over it. And you can add the press state as well. So now I'm going to add some little pop-ups for our hover on each of these cities. So let's just start with a rectangle white background. I'll make it curved And, oh, Beck said, you almost pronounced Brisbane right. The rest you are correct. Am I saying that wrong? Brisbane? Brisbane? I don't know how else you would say it. Trying my best. Okay, so let's, got this text right here. Let's just say Melbourne. And the font that I'm using is Pragmatic. Something new. I don't usually use this color or this font. Okay. Can make this a little bit bigger because we want that to be the main focus. And then let's copy and paste this. We'll say like estimated arrival will be 2:00 a.m. And then since I want Melbourne to be the first thing that we look at, I will make this book a little bit lighter. I just always try to vary the contrast between color, so I'll bring this down a little bit, and thickness of the font. And then we can say like whatever the stop number is for Santa. So stop number 346, whatever. Let's bring this over here. And then this we can bring down a little bit more, make it a little smaller, because that's not as important as the other items. And then what I want to do, I'll just copy this button. And I don't want it to be the same text as whatever's in here, so I'm going to ungroup the component so I can change it. And I'll just say, like, zoom in here if we want to see more details about that city. So let's group that, make it a little bit smaller. And then we can group all of these. So this will be our component. A little smaller. Okay. So right now, when I hover over this, nothing's happened yet, but I do want this to pop up. Let me get rid of this. I do want this to pop up like right here whenever I hover over it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a component. So just add the plus button over here. So now it has the green line around it. It says component master, and we're in the default state. So in order to add the next state, we need to add a hover state. And let's just copy this group. So copy, Command C, and then make sure we are selected on hover state, and then we can just double tap to click in and paste it in there. So you can put it wherever you want. I think that's what you're asking about, David. Oh, okay, he says, I see what I did wrong. I wasn't double clicking the component before adjusting size. Yeah, so you can move this over here, size, whatever. Just make sure you're double clicking in the component. That's the main problem that most people have been having, I feel like, asking me on Discord about. Okay, so let's bring this back to default, and let's go ahead and preview that with our preview button. So when we hover over this, oh, we've got our little pop-up that appears. Okay, and we can do the same for the rest of those. I don't know how much more time, not too much more time left, but let's see how far we can get. So let's add Alice Springs, and maybe the estimated arrival time here is like 2:30. This is stop 2:50, and we can bring this here, delete this. Again, we want to make this a component as well, master, and then let's add a hover state. So let's copy this, paste this in here, and there we go. And bring it back to default state when you're done. And if you wanted to, you can also change like this little icon, make that a bit smaller so the focus is on this. So you can change all of the elements within that component when you're changing the different states. So let's make this a little smaller. You can change the color of this as well. So maybe we want to make this, yeah, since we're hovering, we can make it a little lighter. Let's test this one out too. Select that icon, make it a little lighter, and let's go back to default state and we can preview. And, ooh, that's nice. I like that. Oh, I left the other one on default state, or on hover state. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, that's really nice. How not just we don't just add the pop-up, but we also make the icon itself smaller. So play around with that. Play around with these different attributes that I mentioned: color, size, shape, transparency, or adding additional items. If you want to add like a preview of what Melbourne or Brisbane or whatever city you're working on, if you want to add a preview of that in the pop-up, or yeah, whatever other items you want to add. So that is a little bit about hover. So let's go ahead and save. So Command S. I always forget to save until the very end. If you want to export, another question I get asked a lot is how do I make my little mock-ups with the background? So I'll usually go up here to play, and then you just press this play button, and that will start making an MP4 file for you. So you can just hover around, click whatever interactions you created, and then stop the recording, and you'll get an MP4. And then in order to make, let me go over to my Behance page. In order to make like these backgrounds that I usually do, like this one, I put it into Premiere first and add the background there. So that is how I made those. So while I'm here on Behance, make sure you add that keyword XD Daily Challenge. So that's in Settings, over in Discoverability, that tab up there. And the keyword is XD Daily Challenge. So we can find your work and give you feedback. Okay, someone else has a question. Let's see what you got. David said, if you have two different components on top of each other with independent hover states, so Australia and the pics you're pasting, is there a way to make both activate at the same time? Two different components on top of each other. So are you saying like two of these icons would be on top of each other? I'm not sure if I understand what you're asking necessarily, but if you maybe give me a, e.g. Australia comp darkens while a picture changes size. Yeah, you can change multiple attributes at the same time for sure. Just it's kind of the same as this one. So like in the hover state, I added this, that was a change to the component, and I changed this as well. You can change as many attributes as you want. So yeah, feel free to add as many as you'd like. All right, so we have a bit of time to look at you guys' work that you've been creating so far. So I'm just hopping over to Behance, searching the keyword XD Daily Challenge. And oh, I forgot my hat has been staying on the whole time. I thought it would fall off for sure by now. And I'm just searching most recent this week. So I already have a few pulled up. So this one, I do not remember who this one is by. Let me know in the chat if it's yours. I love these little snowflakes falling down. So cute. So this is the one from yesterday. We worked on CC libraries and adding some photos from our library. So we've got the scroll. That looks very nice. And this was a holiday shop. Very cute. I love how you added all your photos. That looks great. And let's see if there's anything else on here. Oh, a little drop down for the filter. Nice job. Ooh, this one was beautiful. I love the background photo you chose for the cover photo there. So we've got some stockings, wrapping paper. Very nice. And this one maybe just one more. Bargavi, you've been working hard. I've been seeing a few of your designs for this challenge. So we've got color, typography, our Christmas ornaments, and let's look at that prototype. Oh, that's so cute how you have the lights animating. Then we've got all the products showing up. That looks awesome. Wow, you did a lot of transitions there. Very nice. Okay, guys. I'll keep checking in Discord at your work, so be sure to keep sharing there. And this is all the time that we have for today. Thank you all so much for joining and asking questions in the chat. Next up, in about 5 minutes, stay tuned because we have our 2-hour XD live stream with Amy Chen. And I'll be back again tomorrow at 11:30. See you guys then. Bye.